Hello, everybody. So this is a little outside. Usually I talk about Marvin or productivity stuff, but let's just do a plan with me for August. And I'll keep it short and sweet and to the point, but I basically always start out with a blank sheet of paper. I should probably look at the camera. Blank sheet of paper. A giant, just like dump sheet of just ideas. This is how I always start my months. I never just go straight in. And some people can with like projects and pens right into their planner and just like put it all in there, right? And you know, I start to funnel out like what I want to do. And the main areas I organize this by, because I'm starting to do this in my giant passion planner journal, is top priorities. Like, obviously I'm filling this in right now. I had one for July, a spread, and then it was like, I didn't use it. I just ended up using my like other planners, but I'm like, nope, I want the freedom and the creativity, so we just, August. Top priorities, little trackers of things I'm tracking, like keeping track of my, you know, content that I'm working on, or like my Duolingo streak or whatever it is. Just little trackers to fill in things to keep in mind. And then the other page for like other running projects happening in my life. So I have one monthly everything. You know, I don't know if people find it interesting what projects I'm working on. I don't think that's as interesting or applicable to other people, but I mean, I can do like a brief overview of just like everything. But so for the main part, brain dump everything down to here. You know I'm moving in 4 months, which gives me like an ulcer just to think about like the whole moving process. And like, so what comes with that is like, I'm a little too early to look at apartments now. Everywhere I email, they're like, oh, we don't know until like people start giving their like 30, 60-day notices to know what's available, that fun stuff. So I'm a little early there, but what I can do is start decluttering. And I've been working on it all throughout July of like really going through everything I own, looking at each item and go, do I want to move you? You know, to some time I was reading the Marie Kondo book and just like the sparked joy and all of that. And I fully I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm deep in it. But sometimes for objects that I'm like, struggling, do I want to get rid of this or not? I'm like, are you worth the physical labor of moving? Because moving, it's been a while for me, but it's fine and I'm excited for a new place. But how do I say nicely that like moving is like the worst thing ever without being extremely dramatic, because there's so many more problems in the world. But moving sucks. So I'm trying to declutter and minimize as much as possible, which is hilarious if you could see my desk. Like the opposite of minimal right now with my like 300 notebooks. But this is my process. So I brain dump. And then I go through that whole thing and like really just like hack at things like, okay, no, I'm gonna move this to September. I'm really trying to work at focusing on like what I can handle on my plate. I'm very optimistic. I've always been a person who's like, yeah, I can handle like 30 projects in a month. Of course I can. Please. I think just because like I always kept the standard of like how I was in school when I was youthful and energetic, and you know I had 2 part-time jobs, an internship, and 6 school classes, which is more than full-time. That's like full-time and like a little bit extra, and a relationship, and a this and a that, and like a puppy, like, and I keep that in my mind of where my standard of productivity is, even though like I was not okay. I was like, I don't think I was like not eating and like thriving off of like coffee and just adrenaline and rage. But like now that that's in my head of like what I can achieve, I've been working very hard for years to like undo like, okay, that wasn't healthy and not a good time. Like, let's focus on like what I can handle on my plate and that's reasonable, but also has like an impact on my life. You know, I mean, we all have projects that we need to get done. You know, I always have things like, okay, I need to like regrow my lettuce. My lettuce died, you know. Actually, that one's a fun one. But like little things that are less important and not heavy on the plate. So then I take that whole list, hack away through it of like what really matters, what's important, what would make me happy, not just like what, you know, is my work and my client work. Which is one reason I love Marvin, because I can track my time and see like in my categories where I'm spending the most time, and like 90% of the time it's like client work. So I hack away at my projects, and then once I have the projects hacked away at, then I break them down into like little, you know, I work backwards. I work at like, if they're, you know, I kind of addressed this in my last video, like if a project is time bound, like there's a client and deadlines, I just go through and put that in my planner and on days and like into weeks immediately, because I can't, if I don't declutter my bathroom stuff on time, my life is okay. If I start like slipping through client work and turning that in late, I'm in a lot of trouble. So I made sure anything with a deadline goes in there first, no matter what period. That's just like, and I'm finally starting to include like my own work and my own content, which this is not like my main source of income, this channel and this work. I'm a copywriter. I have a whole copywriting YouTube channel. I have a whole like blog and a brand and a website and a this. And that is now being included in my main work, because I keep putting that off for like client work, and it's just, that's completely backwards to like how I should be thinking of my own work and my content and what I create. My YouTube channel and my blogs and my emails and all those things need to be published, period. So that's cool. So time bound first, and then I break down like all the other things that I want to get done. It's still always optimistic. I'm always so optimistic about what I can get done in a month, but I'm always hopeful I'll unlock some like super creativity or some app that will like undo it and I can now get 500 things done. But I'm finally finding flow slowly but surely. So I take those final projects, and I'm a person who I just put them everywhere. I do have notebooks separated for like, okay, this is my content planner, this is my like client planner. You don't have to do that. I'm just a person who I just love to keep things separate. So like when I am in like a time block of like working on content, I just pull out that notebook and I know what I need to work on. For me, if I pull up a notebook or like an app or something, I love Marvin, Always and Forever, and Todoist and all the other ones, but I love planners so I can focus them that way, because, and I know you can use filters on apps, because if I pull up my day and I see like, okay, write a blog for my own site, and then like, oh, this client article is due tomorrow, my brain just goes to the client article and like that's what I focus on. If I see it, I'll do it. So for me as a person, it is incredibly essential for me to have separate things so I can just stay focused on what I'm working on and that like time blocked in that moment without thinking about the other things I have to do, because if I see them, I'll either do them or become so overwhelmed and paralyzed by the master laundry list of things I need to do in a day just to survive as a human being in this world that nothing gets done. It's like one or the other. And so I separate them out. I also, you know, I do like different categories and stuff on the productivity apps I have, but my default always and forever is notebooks, my bullet journal, all of these things to keep things, you know, my little beautiful bullet journal. This is my home of everything to get done. So, and maybe I'll show like spreads and stuff one day if people find that interesting. I am very basic. Like my spreads couldn't be more, you know, but you know, like there's not a lot of frills. I don't know how to do art, so I keep them very simple. So that is pretty much it. That is how I plan my month. And then like each week I just take like what's next and plug it into my week and just hack my way through it, you know. I prioritize the hell out of that entire list all the time, because that is really where things get done, and I'm trying to do a better job of making sure my projects are at the top of that priority list and not just client work all the time, although my clients pay my bills. So there's that. You know, it's a balance between finding the time for what matters to you most, along with like long-term goals where you won't see any like payoff until like 5-10 years That's dramatic. Maybe like 5 years down the line, which is tough. And I want to talk about that at some point in one video because, I mean, I'm still figuring out how to stay motivated for things that won't pay off for years. You know, if you were like going to college or like on a debt-free journey or paying off your student loans, you know, it's hard to maintain that like hoorah all the way through that. But that is it. So, you know, for me, decluttering a giant contract that I really want to win with a client that I'm really loving working with, like, so much, knocking that out of the park, and producing content. And those are my top 3 focuses for the month. I do that. I always go through and like, what are the top most important of all of them, which is why they did that special category that I showed you in this beautiful little spread. And then, like I said, my spreads are so basic. Other projects, but the top one down here, filling them out today. It's August 2nd. I don't know when this video will go out, but, and then I do like a weekly spread of like, and I'll maybe make a video on this, if that's interesting. I'm very, very basic and minimalist. I think if I had art skills, I'd make them pretty and beautiful, but I don't, outside of a lot of stickers and doodling really, really cute random things. So that is it. That is my August plans. If that's interesting, let me know to see some spreads. I can go through some of my favorites and talk about them and show you guys just to get some like inspiration. But that is it. August. It is go time. I can't believe I'm moving so soon. Bullet. Okay. Bye guys. See you in the next video.